About YouTube and growing your channel, subscribe now. And welcome to this week's live stream. I am Dave from TVR Creators and I make weekly YouTube tips to help you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. You're going to get value from this video. Alright, so this week we've got something different for you guys in store today in a live stream. If you're here or just plugging in, don't forget there's loads of stuff going on and feel free to take part, ask questions as we go through the live stream. And on today's show I've got something a little bit different because I'm going to be showing you around Photoshop. Now I know some of you may find Photoshop a little bit daunting, especially if you've not used it much, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you by the end of this live stream. I guarantee you will know a bit more about Photoshop. If you know a little bit about it already, you can join in even more, and I want to show you that with a little bit of practice and just a little bit sort of showing around how it works, it's not as scary as it seems and is so worth it. It's a great tool, great bit of software, and I'm going to show you how epic it actually is. You're going to get value from this video. Alright, so let's crack on with Photoshop. Now this is basically Photoshop. I installed it earlier again here on my my live streaming computer, and I'll tell you what, it's a brilliant tool. Now, you know, straight away you're probably thinking, oh god, there's so much to take in. But I'll tell you what, just like with a good editing tool and just a bit of know-how, you don't have to know what every little thing does. And obviously you can experiment over time, but I'm just going to show you what you might need to know just to sort of get you around it a little bit. And also just to show you that it's not as scary as you might thought. And also actually once you've got the basics of it, you can then, you know, if you get it yourself, you can then explore yourself and sort of, you know, like anything, the more you use it, the better you'll get. So on today's live stream, I'm going to be showing you how I make one of my thumbnails, how easy it is to do, and just how easy it can be to make a thumbnail. So basically, this is the picture of me. As you can see, it's slightly cartoony, and this is the one that I use sometimes. Obviously, I vary it all the time, as you know, and I highly recommend that. I highly recommend that you do that. But also, just for this particular tutorial, this is the photo that I'm going to use. Now, what I would highly recommend, I might have to get my book out for this actually, is start a new project. I'm just going to get it out because I can never remember the exact measurements. So feel free to write it down. I always have it in my little pad. And always have it by width you want at 1280 by, it's gonna get upset about that in a minute, but just bear with it, it should be okay. Okay, it's not liking that. It's always typical on live TV, isn't it? So you want it height, you want it 720. Why is it not doing that? Okay. And you want a width. Why is it not doing that? That's so silly. Why is it not doing that? Oh, that's completely ruined movie night. Why is it not doing that? It does normally do that. It's probably just because it's on this computer. It probably isn't installed quite right. Typical. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a little bit frustrating. Why is it not doing that? Width. Oh my days. This is making me look like a numpty, isn't it? Okay, so it does work, but for some reason there's obviously a glitch gone in today. So basically this is your 1280 wide by 720 high, and the reason I recommend that is just because that is the dimensions that YouTube likes when you upload a thumbnail. So it's just a good idea to make it to that. It's probably getting scared because this is already showing as that. I'm just going to try it again just in case. I'm going to try it one more time. No, it's getting proper scared. Bear with me. You're going to get value from this video. Alright. Okay, let's see who's going in. Reform. Hello. Hello, Leslin. Oh, yes. Welcome to tonight's live stream. And anyone else who's watching who is unable to log in for whatever reason, I welcome you here as well. If you only just joined us, I'm Dave from TVR Creators. I make weekly YouTube tips help you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. And feel free while you're here to check out our merch and just click on the link in the live feed and feel free to have a look around. I've got mugs, you know, I've got lots of value. I've got mugs, t-shirts, phone cases, lots of other things. So go around, check it out as you're listening to this live stream. Value. Okay. So it's not doing that. So anyway, basically, so this is the default then. We're going to use this and just as I said, use 1280 centimeters wide by 720 high. And that's just a good ratio to upload a picture and you can save it as a bitmap. And what I would also recommend is once you save it, I usually resave it again in a program like Paint just to make it like a JPEG. You can do that in Photoshop as well. That's just what I like to do, just because YouTube likes JPEGs, just because they're much smaller files. But for the highest quality, I tend to save it as a bit file and then I resave it as JPEG. Right, so basically, so we've done that. And then what you would then do is you would then get your picture and you would move your picture. So as you can see here, let's just undo that to show you now. So if you click on this arrow with the move tool, as they call it the move tool, let's just call it the icon arrow, and just do a Control A, that will select the entire picture. And what you would do then, you would have a new picture, and you would have this like that. And then basically on your new file, you would then decide, right, what am I going to do with this? So you then position it exactly how you want it. And also it's quite easy to stretch the picture, which is pretty cool. You can stretch how you want. It's not doing that now. It's making me look really stupid. This is live TV for you, typical. And basically you can do this exactly how you want, but just for easiness, we're not going to do that at the moment. So basically, as you can see here, I'm just going to press undo, just because it's, I don't know, having a little paddy fit for some reason. So basically, once you've got the picture, whatever your picture you want for your thumbnail, I highly recommend something clear and easy, something that just shows exactly what the video is about. Obviously, I'm a content creator, so I tend to have, you know, a picture holding a camera or highlighting something, or I might be like, you know, holding my phone or something like that. So you get the idea, and this will be your main picture. And sort of from that, and you can insert other pictures. So if we open up a new picture, we could then say, just for argument's sake, don't do this. Let's try that. So just to show you then, you could have this. And then from that, you can Control A that onto this. And you can sort of move it in. And from here, just to show you the type of things you can do, you can turn the picture around, that sort of thing. The normal icon is not showing for some reason. But what's really cool actually is you can actually move this picture around, so you can have multiple pictures, which is really cool. It's a little bit blurred. I think this is because I'm using lots of programs at once, and this computer is not quite as powerful as my main computer. It doesn't do any of this blurring stuff on mine, and it won't do that on yours. Just this computer is obviously just not as powerful. But you know, as you can see, you could have lots of pictures, which is really cool, which is really awesome. You can move that around. So say if we wanted to make this small again, you can hold down Control, which will give you a still image, and you can move it in. God, it's really not behaving itself tonight, is it? Which is quite frustrating. Why is it not doing that? Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Wow. I look like I've never used this before. For some reason, it's on this computer, it's just really not liking it. So as you can see, you can have multiple pictures. And one thing I want to just show you guys is you have layers on Photoshop. And the beauty of this, I'm going to show you this in better detail. Hopefully, we'll do it better with the text. But as you can see, you have different layers, so you can sort of add things onto the picture, add to the thumbnail. So basically, if I was going to make a thumbnail now then, so say this is about whatever that is about. I'm going to get rid of these layers because they're annoying. So I'm going to get rid of that. And so basically, I've got my main picture, and I'm going to add some text. So click on the text icon, which is really cool. So you click on that. Right, let's see how this goes. Boom, boom, boom. Right, so one thing I would highly recommend actually, what sort of text is this going to do? Okay, so basically I'm going to go for, just for easiness here tonight, click on the picture. Wow, okay. So you can click on the white picture there, which is really cool. And you can choose any picture you want. I would highly recommend a colour that reflects that sort of opposite to, you know, whatever the colour is. Obviously white on black, black on white, red on white looks quite good. Light colours on dark colours on light colours. If you sort of use the theory to give the most value, if you think dark colours on light and vice versa, that tends to work best. So we'll use that principle now, and let's just call it, I don't know, Dave's video. And what I tend to do actually, if you'll let me tonight, is I make it a nice format that's easy to read. Now this is something I highly recommend. Use a font that's easy to read. Now you can use, you know, like you can see there, you know, the joined up handwriting or sort of a fancy font. I would highly recommend, and I do see them on YouTube, and you could argue that they get lots of views, probably because of the personality, so people sort of let them off a bit. But I would highly recommend, just for best practice, to find a font that's just easy to read. It's just a much better way to do it. I'm going to use Arial, and we can click bold here, and then from that we should be able to make it bigger. There we go, we can make it bigger now. It's really so from that, as you can see, look at that, look. So from that, so we want to find a better font there. So I would go for Arial Black, which is not on here. Typical. What would be a good? There you go, something like that. That might be a good one. And we can make this bigger again. And then what I'd recommend, you're probably thinking, okay, Dave, what's that about? So, okay, so what I would then do, you could just press enter and say Dave's video, but to be more creative and have more response to the text, I would click off it, and I would just click on another icon, then click text again, and click where you want the new one, and just type in Dave's video. Click on the move icon as we did earlier, hold down control, wait till you got the little move icon, now this is a pile of laughs. Right, dude. Oh, so to cancel, you can press the red cancel button. For some reason, my icon is not playing ball. Okay. There we go. We made it bigger now. So basically, here you've got Dave's video, which looks really cool. That's, you know, that sort of thing. And you can have Dave's video. You can make this as big as you want just by dragging it out. And one little technique I'd use, and then once you're happy with that, you can go back and change it at any point. See here, you've got the different layers there, and you can add them, you can put them on top of each other. Obviously you can go back and change them any colour. Let's just show that then. So say if you press Control A on the font, and it's probably not going to do that either. But let's just say we want it green for whatever reason, Dave's video, you know, just for argument's sake, and you can make it different angles. From that you can sort of, you could be fancy there actually. Wow. Now for whatever reason, like I've done here, and it's getting really scared, you can actually click on the layer that you want to work on. So I want to use video now, and it should, he says, allow me to do it. There we go. So we can now move that around. See what's done there. So we can now move this text around. We can put it over the top. You could do different layers and make them, say, a black and white and make it like a shadow, that sort of thing. But just for argument's sake, let's just leave it like that. We can perhaps move it a bit, that sort of thing. I'm gonna delete that, I think, because it's wow, it really. Okay. Why is that? So basically, you can move it wherever you want.
Want to learn more about YouTube and growing your channel? Subscribe now. Want to learn more about YouTube and growing your channel? Subscribe now.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure, I just want to get Photoshop working better for you. Anyway, if you don't just join us, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube tips how you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. And, you know, just feel free to check out the description for things that we're talking about in this video. And you can go and check out Photoshop at any point, clicking in our link in our description or pin comment that I'll put in later, or if you're watching this after the live, it will be there already where you can go and check it out straight from Amazon. And if it feels like something you want to play with, go and check it out. Anyway, so we're back in Photoshop. I've now been able to do the 1280 by 720. It's now allowed that, and I just wanted to show you what you can do. So say this is the picture I want to use, right? So Control A, Control C, that's basically selected it and copied it. And we're going to go to our thumbnail now. We're going to press, there you go. Because it's the same size, it locks in straight away. Now obviously if you've got a bigger picture or a smaller picture, you can just use the move icon, go to the arrows, it will come the little arrow icon, and you'll be able to size it to the exact size. Or maybe if you've got a picture and you don't want the edge, you can just, you know, sort of zoom in slightly, so you, I don't know, maybe there's a part of the picture you don't want to use. So basically you want to make your thumbnail clear as possible, highlighting what your video is about. So basically a picture about whatever it is you're talking about, you know, stuff like that, have it on the phone, stuff like that. And let's just show you what happens when you put text in. So last time it got well scared. I'm going to put Dave's video. Right, I'm going to show you now. Now you can do it on different levels. You can bring it to the front. And as you can see here, that's Dave's video, which is awesome. And we're going to click on another one. Now just to show you now, if you highlight, say, video, the second layer, you can make it a different point. So if you click on that again, you can bring it to the back, and there you go. It's now behind the picture. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but say if you were, there's a part of the picture you didn't want, you could perhaps sort of hide it and then put something else over the top of it. Or maybe you just didn't want it there, but you don't want to delete it. Maybe you want to use it in case you're playing with the idea. So, say for that sort of that example, you could have that. And as you see, Dave's video, and obviously you can sort of change that at any point, which is really cool. Obviously, add in Dave's video. And what I would highly recommend, something I actually didn't show you earlier, if you click on the zoom button, which is basically just a little magnifying glass, you can then zoom in and out, which is really handy. So you can zoom right in and you can zoom out, which is really clever. And what I find helpful is if you just zoom out a little bit. Now, this is something I want you to bear in mind on people's phones, especially because you've got to remember, for most people, they will be looking at your thumbnail on their phone. So it's going to be about this sort of size, maybe a bit smaller. And if it looks clear, and still at this size, it still looks very clear what the video, Dave's video. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Bear in mind, it probably look better in white, but we'll just keep it green for now, just to make it different. And, you know, you can go, oh, that's cool. Now, if you zoom out and you can't maybe read the writing, or maybe you've used a bit fancy lettering and you think, oh, that looked really cool zoomed in, but when I zoom out, it looks a bit naff. Then from that, you then think, perhaps we should think again, that sort of thing. So bear that in mind. Now I like just clicking, left clicking, right clicking, zooms in quicker, and this is the sort of size I like to have. Now if you want to highlight some text, this is going to some more fancy stuff now, if this computer allows. If you click on the square icon, it says, and we just highlight, okay. Right, there we go. We got the square. We're going to make it black. No, not purple. We want it black. And then we just want to highlight the text. Remember what we were doing before. So now you can select it with the icon, which is something I want you to bear in mind. And let's just bring it to the front and then bring it back just a tad. Let's bring it back again. There you go. And what you can do here, say for example, you wanted to make this red, and bring to the front. Right, so you want to make this red, just bear this in mind. And then you want to bring that back behind, just a tad like that. You can then see you've got this cool little window, this little square, and you can see that it sort of helps stand out the text. And you might want to change that. So say for example, if you zoom out, so if we just zoom out a little tad, there we go, we're starting to use it now. And you think, oh, that looks all right. But you might zoom in and think, you know what, actually I want to change that text. And this takes just a little while, a little getting used to. So if we just click on Dave, then we should be able to click on that. It is really not playing ball tonight. Live TV for it. On my other computer it works completely fine. But for some reason, I don't know if it's because I've got multiple programs open doing OBS and all the rest of it, it's just really not liking it. But basically, you can change that to any colour you want, which makes it really easy. And at the moment, this is not easy. Okay, if you can't do it, this is what I do sometimes. Sometimes it just gets scared. And what I would highly recommend, just to show you, is is delete the layer. So that just for argument's sake, let's just delete them. And you're probably thinking, okay, I just find it easier sometimes just to click on the colour that you want. And let's just click on that. Dave. And let's just put it where we want, and then we do another one. Dave's video. I just find it easier sometimes just to delete, and we're just for argument's sake, let's see if it will play ball, and obviously we can resize it a little bit. If you want to be clever, you can sort of make it different angles, which is quite cool and nifty. So if you want to be a bit more creative, you can turn it just by holding down control, go to the middle, and it will give you like a little turn arrow that you probably can't see on here. But then you can just sort of turn it, see, just like that. And I don't know, you can just be a bit more creative with it. So if we zoom out now, and you can see that, you know, that stands out much better than the green on the red, and obviously depending on what colours you use. And this is just a little simple way just to make your thumbnails look a bit more interesting, maybe a bit more professional. If you want to go to the next stage, you might want to click on the shape, and you can do the same again, he says. And you might want to bring that to a different one. What I sometimes do actually is I will make it sort of like this, so it just stands out a bit, and then you can really play around. And then for whatever reason, if you want to sort of, say if you've got something in the background but you want to still use this square method, see where it says this optimization here, you can make it so it's a little bit see-through. So we can make that from 100 to 80%, and you're probably not going to see it so much on here, just because there's no picture. It's gone a bit darker, but that's because it's showing the black behind. So if you've got, say, a picture, so I'm going to show you an example where I've done this better. Let's just show you on my channel, and you can see now. Yeah, so where I've done here, where it says home studio ideas on this Tuesday's video, I've done like a black square, tilted it slightly and made it very see-through, so it sort of, it helps to stand out the text, but obviously because it's a whole picture, you know, if I just had the text it would blur in with the picture bit, but just having that square slightly see-through, it helps the text stand out, and I personally feel it looks more professional. So that's something to bear in mind.
You're going to get value from this video. Want to learn more about YouTube and growing your channel? Subscribe now.
So if you're only just joining us, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube tips to help you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. And just before we crack on, I just want to say we have lots of merch, so go and check out our merch at any point where you can get even more value. We have mugs and t-shirts and all sorts of things. Go and check it out, support the brand by buying any of them. And we're also working on an Amazon merch page over the next few days where you'll be able to get free deliveries, so that's even more tempting if I don't say so myself. Hashtag drink more Dave. Oh yes. So I'm just going to show you a few more tips of the sort of things. Now feel free to ask any questions in the question tab. If you have any questions, or if you watch this later, ask a question in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. A few little things that you can do then. So this is bear in mind, and this is basically how you do a thumbnail. And then once you've done this, you just do file, save as. Wow, okay. And then you can save it as a Photoshop file if you want to go back to it. I tend to use it as I edit, and then sometimes I'll go back to it. And then what I would highly recommend is saving it as like a BMP, and that makes it a really good file type. And then perhaps reopen it, or you can save it as straight as a JPEG, whatever you find easier. And as long as you save it as a JPEG, then it will upload to YouTube and you have your thumbnail. Now I want to say be creative, find your own style. And one little technique I would definitely use is try and find a colour scheme. So once you find 2 or 3 colours that you like, you probably find I tend to use black and orange as my subtle. Obviously I have red as well, you know, with the branding. And, you know, try and find your own colours that sort of make sense to you, that sort of thing. And I want you to sort of bear in mind that, you know, just be creative with it. What I may do actually is add in a link after this video to a tutorial where I'll go into much more detail on making even a better thumbnail. So I'll probably put that in the description, so look out for that. But I just want to show you now. So bear in mind, ask any questions. So that's pretty much how you make a thumbnail. So you basically just put in your picture, add in some text, save it as a JPEG, upload to YouTube, job done. And hopefully once you get used to it, it won't be as hard work as it has been tonight. Now I want you to see that you can apply some cool effects, which is really cool. Like that. You can do, I sometimes go on quick. And you can make it, you know, add in shadow, stuff like that, which is really cool. I find you can make it, you know, black and white, stuff like that, which is really nifty. Obviously if you go into the full effects, you can sort of apply all sorts of weird and wonderful things. You probably can't see quite as well here, just because this particular picture already has effects applied to it. So you probably won't see it, but any sort of picture you can make it blurred, you can make it look like a drawing, stuff like that. And you're probably thinking, how do you do that cut out effect? So say if you just want to take a random picture of you, that's easy as well. You just click on this cut out effect and you slowly just drag round the object, or more specifically you. I highly recommend having a single colour around you. It just makes cutting out easy. And then from that, you can then copy, click select, paste, and look, you got 2 of you. There you go. How cool is that? So you've now got 2 Daves. Imagine that. That would be quite entertaining. Imagine 2 of me at the same time. Hard work, wouldn't it? And obviously from that you can turn it around. You could add different pictures to that. On the quickness of that, let's play around with this. You can maybe, you know, you can make that green and see, you know, you can be really creative with Photoshop. You can, you know, once you get into it, you can add different layers. From that you could then add in, if we go into full now, we can just sort of click off that and we can now add a square, just for argument's sake. We're adding that square. I just want to show you this now. Let's see if it does it. We'll say white just because why not. Let's bring it to the front, and this is something I like to do. And then from here let's add text. We'll make this black just because it's a bit easier. Let's just call it hello. That's just the first word that came to my head, and then from that we can shape it however we want, which is really cool. And we can shape that in there, and then just to add so the text stands out, and what I was talking about earlier, so the text stands out, but we don't have maybe a quite so obvious square. You can click on the shape, click on the move icon, and make it slightly invisible. Let's make it 60, see what happens. And as you can see, it looks slightly less obvious, and then from there you can just resize it maybe around the text so it just stands out. And see here, I wouldn't recommend this as a style of a thumbnail, but you know, you get the idea. You can really play around with, you know, thumbnails and text and what looks good. But personally, you probably would agree with me that just a basic picture of you holding whatever it is that you're talking about and text is probably the way to go.
You're going to get value from this video.
Alright! Right, so that's basically how you make thumbnails, how you use Photoshop. There's so much more you can do with Photoshop, but we could literally be all night. And don't go anywhere, because in the after show, I'm just going to go over a few little things that you may find interesting. And as core fans, I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in to give, so I can give you absolute value, which is awesome. So here we go.
You're going to get value from this video.
Alright, so welcome to the after show where I can relax a little bit. Hope you got value from today's video. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you've learned a little bit about Photoshop, and I hope you found that interesting. There's so much more you can do with it. It's a great program. There's so much you can do with Photoshop. There really is. And I would just say it's Sparemen. You know, like I said, I've got a link to Photoshop in the description. Go and check it out. It's only about £70 at the moment. It's a great bit of software, and it's very versatile. There's so much you can do with it. It has loads of great effects. And I would say, as a content creator building your thumbnail, just think to give the best value, just a simple picture with no more than 2 or 3 words. And I would highly recommend that as a way to, you know, just make the simplest thumbnails and just a Sparemen. And if you find your click rate goes up or down, maybe change around. And as I said earlier, try and think of a color scheme that matches your style. So I hope you got value from that. I just want to say thank you again for tuning in live. Thank you. A shout out to you, Leslyn, for watching tonight's show. It means a great deal. I just want to apologise generally, just because it just felt like it went wrong tonight. I don't know why. But it just felt a little bit like Photoshop was just not playing game on this particular computer, probably because I've got lots of things open, because I'm using OBS, I've got the camera going, all that sort of stuff. Bear in mind, if you're just using Photoshop yourself, you won't have that problem, and it'll work fine, as I tend to find it works fine on every computer I use. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, so I was trying to get one of my phones as a webcam. My phone just wasn't charging, so I just went back my webcam. I'm loving this microphone. This is still the Zoom H1M, H1M1, I think it is. And it's a brilliant microphone. This is what I've been using tonight. Let me know if the sound sounds good. and lots of value going on. Feel free to check out our description for links. We've also, you can find TVR Creators on Twitter at any point, where you'll get an update to what's going on literally every day. I put links on there to things I find interesting that you might find valuable for your videos, and just general stuff that's going on at TVR Creators. We're also on Instagram, and we have a really nice community page on Facebook. Go and check it out, where you can share your videos and your channel, share with other content creators. I'm still loving the Canon M50. It's an absolutely brilliant camera. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Thank you again for watching. Hope you got value. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you Tuesday for the next video that's going to be absolutely jam-packed full of value. And as always, guys, you guys rock.
Want to learn more about YouTube and growing your channel? Subscribe now.